This video has been created by Jean-Pierre Alexandre Pribiloa, the administrator of Ballet International, as a tribute to my music for ballet. Thanks to his graphic work, he brought me alive again. Would you like to hear my profile, my career, my works? Does this name tell you something? Piotr Ilych, Tchaikovsky. This name may sound familiar to some of you who are acquainted with the world of music and ballet, but probably for the new modern generation, not all might be familiar with it. Let me introduce myself. I was born on May 7th, 1840, and I passed away in November 6th, 1893. My father was Ilya Petrovich Tchaikovsky, and my mother was Alexandra Andreevna, was arguably the most popular Russian composer of all time. I was and still am considered the titan of the Romantic era, a man whose music is defined by incredible melodic beauty, sweeping emotion, and brilliant orchestration. Here is a brief breakdown of my life, my most essential works, and the mystery surrounding my death. The big three. Ballets. Even if people don't think they know Tchaikovsky, they know his ballets. He revolutionized the genre, turning what was previously considered background dance music into serious symphonic art. The Nutcracker, a Christmas staple worldwide. Famous tracks include Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, notable for its use of the celesta, and Waltz of the Flowers. Swan Lake, the quintessential ballet. The Swan theme is one of the most recognizable tragic melodies in history. The Sleeping Beauty, my own favorite among all my ballet compositions. Known for an intricate and grand orchestration, orchestral masterpieces. They said I was a master of the orchestra, capable of moving from whispering tenderness to explosive power, literally with cannons. The 1812 Overture, written to commemorate Russia's defense against Napoleon's invasion. It is famous for using real cannon fire in the finale, Symphony No. 6, Pathétique. My final completed symphony. It is a deeply melancholic, tragic work that premieres just days before my death. Many view it as my suicide note, in musical form. Piano Concerto No. 1. One of the most famous concertos ever written. It opens with powerful crashing chords that immediately grab the listener. Violin Concerto. Originally deemed unplayable by the violinist he wrote it for, it is now a cornerstone of the violin repertoire. Musical style, the Russian soul. I occupied a unique middle ground in 19th century music. The cosmopolitan versus the nationalist, while his contemporaries, like the Five, wanted to create purely Russian music free of Western influence. I combined Western European technique, which I learned at the conservatory, with Russian folk melodies and deep emotional expression. Melody King. My greatest gift was in the ability to write long, lyrical singing melodies that stay in your head instantly. A life of private turmoil. Despite my fame, I was a deeply troubled man. I personally preferred men than women, at a time when it was illegal and socially unacceptable in Russia. I lived in constant fear of being outed, which caused me severe anxiety and depression. My disastrous marriage. In an attempt to cure myself or appear normal to society, I married a former student, Antonina Miliukova. Even if I was in love with my student at the Imperial School of Jurisprudence, his name is Sergei Kireyev. Finally, my marriage was a catastrophe. I fled the marriage after only a few weeks, suffering a nervous breakdown. My music success arose many evil jealousies, not only to my art, but to my person and my personal life. These jealousies were so strong that even in the high society, people opinion were in the doubt and divided in two. But me today, as Piotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky, I am not going to analyze how the world has fallen into darkness. After all, when you listen to my music for days, for months, you shall think of my art and not my personal life. Be sure that in each musical note partition you hear, you shall find next to it a tear. The Invisible Patron. For 13 years, I was funded by a wealthy widow named Nadezhda von Meck. We wrote over 1,000 letters to each other, but by mutual agreement, never met in person. She allowed me to quit my teaching job and compose full-time. The Mystery of My Death. I died in 1893 at the age of 53, officially of cholera, after drinking unboiled water during an epidemic in St. Petersburg. However, conspiracy theories persist to this day. The Court of Honor. Theory. Some historians suggest that a court of honor, formed by my former law school classmates, ordered me to commit suicide to avoid a scandal involving a member of the aristocracy. According to this theory, I took arsenic, which mimics cholera symptoms. The official verdict: most modern scholars lean toward the cholera explanation, noting that he had a habit of drinking unboiled water and that the suicide plot lacks hard evidence. My personal thoughts. Looking to the modern world, there is now a lot of freedom, which at my time was very pale. But I wonder if all this freedom I see today will bring something good, as the world is poor of beautiful music. I wish I could compose again for the new generation, but human life has an end, and time flows for everyone. I just highlighted some flashes of my life and music career. I do have regrets to not compose. Ballet in the modern world needs new, stunning choreographers. I had the honor to work with Marius Petipa and Lev Ivanov. They created awesome choreographies that remain alive. As you might notice, the three classics are eternal, and all ballet companies around the world perform these ballets. Yes, my name, Piotr Ilych Tchaikovsky, will remain eternal as well, as my music for the great choreographies that followed. Remember one thing, that without good music you cannot dance. Without good music you cannot show your feeling and expression. My music for some is just a melody. For some others it becomes the mirrors of their entire life. Every time an opera house will play my symphonies or performs on the three grand classic, You Shall Bring Me Alive Again. No matter if my personal life was gloomy or misunderstandable, what is important is my art and music and all the passion and love I gave to it, to make people and artists cry, smile, and dance. Faithfully, yours, Piotr Ilych Tchaikovsky.